You're listening to a Cult Talk Network podcast.
File access granted.
Hello, all you believers, idealists, skeptics, and all those questioning the universe. My name is Bailey.
And I'm Ty.
And welcome today to this episode of Cult Talks Conspiracy.
Yeah, our second episode of November coming off of Culttober.
I know. I'm still like kind of Culttober hungover.
Oh, me too. It was a crazy month. Great month.
It was wonderful. I still haven't put away my scary movies. Like I haven't put away my Halloween blankets. My Halloween decorations are still up. I am that person. They'll come down and then the Christmas decorations will pop up in a 24 hours time period. And it's like, what is happening at the Frost House?
My Christmas decorations got right after Halloween. I throw them up pretty quick.
No.
I like a tree. I like having a Christmas tree.
Yeah.
But this is kind of a special episode in itself because this is actually the first episode we're recording together.
It is!
In person.
It is! Most of the time, you guys might not know this, but most of the time, Ty and I will record remotely where I will be in Chillicothe and he will be in Central Ohio. But yeah, today we are here in the flesh, in person. So Tyler finally let me back in his house.
Yep.
So Shy is here. Shy, the wonderful podcast Shih Tzu, is here. It's wonderful. We have all kinds of doggos that are here, a part of the Cult Talk Net family. So this is a pretty special episode. We're here in person. We're talking about America's underground volcano.
Yeah, I'm interested in this one. So this is not something I saw on our radar for conspiracies. Like we've covered aliens, we've covered cryptids, we've covered government documents, but we have yet to cover like a natural phenomena like this. So I'm very interested to hear.
This one was exciting. So I first found this when I was kind of going through my just mass list of conspiracies that we could possibly do and cover. And this one just kind of popped up, and it was just a smaller one. I will go on ahead and say there are a lot of opinions about this out there, but it is a bit of a lesser known one in my circles.
Yeah.
Which is really interesting. I'm really excited to talk about it. I don't know if you're ready to go back to middle school science class, but that's what we're going to be doing today.
So yeah, I'm interested to see this because I've heard of this before, but I've never heard of like the conspiracy side of it. So that's what I'm interested to hear. I always thought this was just pretty like a thing, like a fact. Like I didn't know it had a conspiracy element. So I'm very interested to hear like that aspect of it.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's super, super interesting. But do we want to go ahead and tell people what we're doing later this month, or do we want to keep them in suspense?
No, yeah, let's go and tell them. So we're actually gonna. So this is our third month at Cult Talk Conspiracy. And one thing Cult Talk Net likes to do, and mainly it's because I love holiday specials, so I always push for holiday specials. And we're going to do a Black Friday special.
Yeah.
We are going to have a Thanksgiving special. Mike and I and Eric, I believe, we're trying to get roped into it. And Earth's trying to get roped into it. We will be doing Thanksgiving 3.
Eric did not sound excited.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. I've never seen it. I've never watched Thanksgiving 3. None of us ever seen it. So I'm interested. But we are going to have a Thanksgiving Day special that will be out on all the podcast network shows. But here on Cult Talk Conspiracy, we're going to do a special Black Friday episode that's going to be Men in Black encounters.
Yeah.
So we're going to focus on a couple interesting encounters with the Men in Black who we covered on the previous episode, and we will be covering again here later in the month when we do a follow-up that I'm going to be putting together. So a lot of Men in Black stuff this month.
I know. Well, there's so many stories that are out there regarding Men in Black and Men in Black encounters and whatnot. It was almost it would be a missed opportunity not to really highlight on those stories and to do that.
And this is going to be a different format too, because we're trying to differ the specials from the regular episodes. So this will be a different format from the regular episodes. So very interested to hear like what you guys think of that and how it feels and how it flows. So keep an ear out for that because it will be coming out on Black Friday this month. So definitely be ready for that one.
Yes. Listen to it before you do all your consumerism and, start looking around at everyone you're shopping with and be like, is that a Man in Black? No, they don't shop at Target. But that's going to be exciting. I'm super excited. for that. But right now, I'm super excited to talk about America's underground volcano, which is in the national treasure Yellowstone.
Ooh, yeah. File 006.
Oh my gosh, we're already on 6.
Yeah, we're already at 0. It's kind of cool because the Men in Black episode, the next one will be the 007.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's kind of interesting. But
nice.
Yeah, so this is file 006, America's super volcano. I'm ready for this one.
All right.
I'm super interested to hear what we're gonna learn from unsealing this file.
Fabulous. Well, without any further ado, let's unseal this file. So, did you ever make a volcano at your middle school science fair?
I did.
You did?
One time. Yeah, I think I did it once for maybe a science fair. I think we did it. I think, I remember us building the volcanoes and doing the little baking soda test, right?
Oh,
it's like
nice.
baking soda, isn't that what it is?
I've never made a volcano before, so I wouldn't be able to tell you. My mom said that was too messy. And no. My science fair project was how ice melted and the freezing point of ice and whatnot. So I got a ribbon. That was cool.
Nice.
So,
I did the pickle and the electric pickle. I did that once.
That's super cool.
I did that one.
Oh, we should try doing our science fair projects as adults now and see how they go.
That'd be interesting.
That'll be a Cult Talk Net project.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Cult Talk Next Science Fair. That'd be actually pretty fun. That'd be kind of cool.
I'll be able to rope the guys into that one. All right. But so there is a volcano in the United States of America, and it is located in Yellowstone National Park in the western central part of the park and the northwest corner of Wyoming. So out west. And it's actually called the Yellowstone caldera or super volcano.
Okay.
And I do want to point out real quick, the term super volcano is not actually a scientific term. It's more of like a sort of like a layman's term to express the magnitude.
The magnitude.
Of what this is. But the more official term, which I'm probably gonna be referring to it more often, is the caldera, which is actually Spanish for cauldron.
Okay.
And it's really interesting because the caldera is actually a large bowl-shaped depression, which is about 0.6 miles in diameter. So the whole thing spans about 44 miles, but this bowl-shaped kind of crater is only about 0.6 miles in diameter. So almost a complete mile is just carved out, which is just so intimidating to think about.
Have you ever been to Yellowstone?
No, I haven't.
I've always wanted to go.
I haven't, and I'm not sure if I'm going to go after all this research, to be honest.
Oh, yeah?
With you. I don't know. Ben went one year with his family, and he said that they tried to camp out there, and it got so cold that they not only had to abandon their campsite outside, but they had to go in and sleep in the car. And he was so little at the time, he had to like sleep in between his parents to keep warm. So yeah, we're thinking about going. Like I said, I don't know. We'll decide after this podcast and after he hears all this.
Well, you got this, and you have like the missing 411 stuff.
I know.
It's terrifying.
Oh, David Politis.
Yeah, Yellowstone's a hotbed for that shit.
I know. That's another one that we're gonna have to cover.
Oh, for sure. I feel like that's gotta be a little series we do.
Oh, yes.
That's a crazy one.
Yes.
But this is a good first visit to the national parks.
It really is. It really is. So this caldera actually forms when the magma or molten rock is no longer there to support the weight of the volcano cone. So like the top of the volcano, so it actually like caves in on itself and creates this sort of bowl-shaped depression in the ground. Like
a little crater, basically?
Yeah, yeah. So, and then I do have a definition for the term supervolcano, which is an unusually large volcano having the potential to produce an eruption with effects on the global climate scale.
Makes sense.
So
that's super.
It is super.
Yep.
Not a superhero.
I remember watching years ago, I think I mentioned on the last episode at the end when we announced this episode, there was like a Discovery or History Channel documentary, one of those mockumentaries they put out.
Oh, yeah.
Where it's like dramatized, where they put out, and it was like about the volcano erupting And I remember that one like scaring the hell out of me. 'Cause it like shows like all the effects on like the United States, you know, and each part of the United States is as the volcano erupts and how it like damages, you know, how it basically like makes buildings collapse and all that shit. Like it's wild.
There was a term that I didn't know what it actually meant, so I had to actually look it up, and that word was cataclysmic. And it basically is a violently destructive event.
Catastrophic.
So there have been a total of 3 cataclysmic eruptions at this site. The first one was 2.1 million years ago. The second was 80,000 years ago. And the third, which was the largest and actually created the Yellowstone caldera, was 6,400,000 years ago.
Oh, wow. It's not that long ago.
Not that long ago. And honestly, the time frame is actually like 1.3 to 1.6 hundred-thousand years apart. Or
wow.
Yeah, that number.
And it seems like it gets closer and closer.
Yeah.
Between eruptions.
Right. Yeah. I mean, we had a little bit of a gap with going from 1.3 to 1.6. So we had like a 0.3 differentiate between the two. But still, I mean, it's something. However, I do want to point out, it has not erupted in almost 70,000 years.
Wow.
So it has been a hot little minute.
Which makes me wonder, is it due?
Is it due? Is it coming back? Do we know? And that's a huge conspiracy in itself. Before we go any further, is the main conspiracy you will find around the Yellowstone volcano is, when is it going to blow? Is it ready to blow? And does the government know if it's going to blow?
So there's people that believe that the government knows this thing is going. Oh wow.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Did you read much into that?
Oh yes.
Excellent. Oh, yes. I want to hear that.
I'm excited.
Like I said, I had no idea, because you told me this was what you wanted to do, and I was like thinking, like, man, how is this going to fit in conspiracy? It sounds more like a weird shit kind of thing, you know, like here's a story of something crazy. I was like, how is this going to fit into conspiracy? 'Cause I've never heard this aspect of it, so this is all new to me. Like, I know about the volcano, I never knew about this side of it. So
nice.
Very interesting.
I'm excited. I'm so excited now. Because rarely do I get to bring things that you don't know about. So,
True. It's very rare.
It is rare.
It's very rare.
So we're gonna talk about how the eruption happens, and then how the eruption would affect the land around it and our country, as well as the global effect of it. So an eruption happens according to the U.S. Geological Survey, or the USGS, as we're going to refer to it from now on. Deep within the earth is so hot that the rocks will actually melt and become a thick flowing substance called magma over time. And when the magma is lighter than the rock around it, like the solid rock, the magma will actually rise and collect into what's called magma chambers. And then eventually some of the magma will push through, and it cuts into the Earth's surface. Now, there's 2 types of magma in this. So some volcanoes are explosive while others are not. And the non-explosive magma is thin and runny, and gases can escape a lot easier, so the pressure doesn't build up. While the other type is actually a thick and sticky kind of magma, where it's harder for gases to erupt.
Okay.
So the magma will collect and the gases will build pressure. And eventually, over time, the pressure will build up so much to where an eruption happens. So the thin, runny magma is actually like Hawaii's volcanoes.
Okay.
And the thick bitch magma is actually more like what we saw with Mount St. Helens in Washington when that erupted.
Do you ever see like the videos of like eruptions like in like Hawaii and like these tropical locations when there's an eruption? You'll see like people like at the like edge of like the lava. Like that scares the hell out of me. Like it's like you're right, and like how do you even withstand that kind of temperature? It's just it's crazy to me. Yeah, because like, I've seen like, you know, they talk about how dangerous it is, because the lava, a lot like water, is very unpredictable. So like you'll see like sometimes like it might move in slow, then it'll hit like a little bubble and it'll, you know, push past. Like it's wild, and people get right up on that shit, and it's terrifying. There's no way to survive that if you get
no.
And if you, I don't think you'd want to survive it either.
Probably not. I mean, burn treatment is not for the faint of heart.
No.
Like, oh my gosh. I when I worked in a hospital, we had a guy come in with like, I think he had like a 4th degree burn
Oh, jeez.
on him. I could not go in that room because you could actually like smell the burning skin, and like I could not. I pride myself on having a pretty like hard stomach. I could not go in that room. I was like, I can't do this. I couldn't.
There's the Tommy Lee Jones movie from the 90s called Volcano. And it's about a volcano in Los Angeles. And there's a part where a guy like gets his leg covered in lava or whatever, and they pull him out, and his leg just like turns to mush. And it always grossed me out. I was like, yeah, that's probably what it'd be like. I don't know. It's disgusting.
California is actually a pretty heavy volcanic area too. Like there's a lot of volcanologists that have like really pushed for California to have more environmental concern regarding their volcanoes.
That'd be a great episode too. Just like the volcano and California just breaking off one day. That'd be a great episode because that's like a big one. That's a big theory.
It really is. It really is. I still have like when I told my when I told my Southern relatives that I was doing a conspiracy podcast, they're like, "Are you going to talk about California? It's called how it's going to break off one day," along with the lizard.
That'd be a great one.
It would be. It would be. I would like it. So, a little fun fact is when this type of eruption happens, like with Mount St. Helens, is pieces of the magma will actually fly into the air. And they'll break apart like as they're flying into the air or after they're in the air. And these pieces are actually called tephra. Tephra.
Yeah, Tephra.
Tephra. I love that you can pronounce everything. I love it.
I try.
Which can actually range from small rock sizes to giant boulder sizes. And they're just coming out from the sky. And then the eruptions can eject clouds of this tifa, and then from the sides or the
clouds
tops,
of it,
like clouds of it. Yeah,
oh
like they'll cover the sky with it. And like it'll happen from the sides of the volcano, the top of the volcano, and it'll destroy everything in its path on their way down. And then the ash is erupted into the sky, and it comes down mimicking snowfall. And something that I also found really interesting is, much like they did with Mount St. Helens, was they actually have already constructed an ash map of what may happen, what it may look like, I should say, if the Yellowstone volcano were to erupt.
Wow. I remember that being a big part of that documentary was like the damage the ash would do in itself.
Oh, yeah. It like completely covers the entire western United States. And there's even parts of it that will come off into like the east area, like where we are now. And then like parts of Canada will probably get, may get ash, I shouldn't say probably. And like, we're not talking about the fun Ash from, Army of Darkness. I'm sorry. He's not coming. I'm sorry.
The thing with the ash is like, you can see, a lot of times in the winter and like places that get heavy snowfall, you can have issues with roofs collapsing and stuff because, snow will build up and, it weighs down on the roof and it'll break beams and push through roofs and stuff. But, snow will melt eventually. But ash is not what melts. So it just consistently builds up and builds up. And the thing with it is, I believe that also a volcano also doesn't have like a weather effect to it, doesn't it? Like, can it affect the weather and like cause rain and shit like that? Cause moisture to get trapped in?
I didn't look at if the moisture could get trapped in it. I'm sure it could.
Or it could weigh down cloud. I think that's what it does. Maybe this
yeah, I could see it weighing down clouds because of just how thick everything is. I could definitely see it producing like a lot of heat.
And the thing with ash is that all it clumps together. Because I know one of the things too is like all this ash fall, as soon as it hits water, it's going to start sludging up. So like it's going to like waterways and lakes and stuff are basically going to become just death zones.
Oh yeah. And like ash, it can actually, like these blankets of ash can actually suffocate plants and animals and even humans at that point. Like it would be dangerous to go outside if you were in like that immediate area, other than, lava's coming out of the sky.
Right. Right.
Oh yeah. And then actually going back to your point, when hot volcanic materials like lava, magma, even ash, when they mix with water, either with either streams or melted snow or ice, it actually forms mud flows
Yeah.
or laras, which have buried entire communities before.
Yeah. So it becomes like basically like cement.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah.
yeah. Oh yeah. And like one of the most famous volcanic eruptions, I feel like we have to talk about, because they were very much affected by this, is Pompeii.
Right. And that's where it like straight made statues of people.
Oh
right?
yeah. Oh yeah. It was a Roman.
I guess that was like solidifying.
Oh yeah, like they had like it was a city frozen in time. Like there, let me see if Mount Vesuvius. I was close. I was going to say Vesuvius. Scientists actually determined that it happened on August 24th, 79 CE, and the remains were actually not discovered until the 1700s. So it stood there under its blanket of ash, completely frozen in time for over 1,000 years.
Wow. See, I didn't know that it was left undiscovered that long.
Mm-hmm. I didn't either. That was a fun part of my research.
Yeah.
Was and like, can you imagine being like the first person on site and being like, I found a city?
Yeah, that'd be crazy. Like, I wonder like how it was. So it was hidden underneath ash, basically.
Mm-hmm.
So
yeah, it was buried underneath like ash, and then of course like rock and
right.
Various like earth debris and whatnot. And I mean, it's just crazy to think about, because like not only were the buildings still left intact, but also the animals were left there. There were complete like people like holding each other, like frozen in time. Like it's insane to just go in and look at it. If you want to like see something crazy today, other than hearing something crazy like Coltex conspiracy, look up Pompeii. So going back to our Yellowstone caldera, the USGS actually has a volcanic measuring system. And this is something that they update very, very, very frequently. The last update, and I did look this up, was actually published on October 1st of this year. And this is at the time of our recording. So there might be another update posted. But they actually do have a survey, and it's a 24-factor hazard and exposure matrix used to create the threat ranking system, which places each of the volcanoes into 5 threat categories. Okay. And it's super hard.
So we have a 5. So it's like the tornadoes are the same way, right?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's a similar ranking system to is it like a threat of eruption, or is it like damage that
it's
or
like,
magnitude of the
so
eruption?
The categories are very low, moderate, high, and very high. So and that's based on like, are they scheduled to erupt anytime soon? Because like the biggest thing with volcanoes, and especially the caldera, is nobody knows when this is going to erupt. It's part of like the mystique around volcanoes and whatnot. We don't know when it's actually going to blow, because we don't know how much pressure is being built up, and we also don't know if the tectonic, thank you. Not the Titanic. The tectonic plates below us are shifting, or when they're going to shift.
Right.
So there's a lot of guesswork involved with this.
Isn't there like a way? Isn't it like they can predict a volcano, but it's like pretty much right before it erupts, and they can
by the
gauge
seismology.
So it's like by that time it's like
it's too late.
Yeah, it's like pretty much on the verge of erupting.
You have like it's like right before a tsunami or an earthquake. Like, well, I think tsunamis have gotten a little bit better now with like the satellite system and whatnot. But
yeah, no, we have the buoys out in the ocean that monitor a lot of the wave flow.
Yeah, but like it's very similar to earthquakes. Like they measure the seismic graphs and the sonars and even the GPS around it, and then see like how close the earthquakes are getting to. Because on top of having a volcano there, Yellowstone is actually a hotbed for all kinds of earthquakes all over the park.
That's one thing I'd like to experience too. I've never experienced a earthquake. I'm not saying like, I wish we have an earthquake right now, but that'd be interesting to be like out at Yellowstone and just feel the earthquake underneath you. You don't think that'd be fun? Oh, I think it'd be interesting. No, because
then I'd start looking around like, is the boulder going to fall on me? Like, what is going to happen? I'd start like ducking for the hills or just running. I don't know. I do everything you're not supposed to do. So I understand that the ranking system kind of is what it is, but I just kind of wish that the names had a little bit more detail to it. like between like very low, moderate, high, and very high. I just kind of wish we had like because we even have like the numerical system for like earthquakes and tornadoes, like it was a magnitude of like 8 or 9 or things like that. Like I don't know, maybe we just haven't had enough like volcanic eruptions to actually categorize it with that, which is fine. I'm fine with that reason. That's okay with me. But I think that's part of the reason why there might be like so much as to like why, like, when is it going to erupt? Is it going to erupt soon?
Yeah. Now it's because volcanoes, I mean, it's pretty rare that we have like a really massive, like, I guess I don't know, an impact. I don't know, say impactful, but like a big, like, high profile eruption, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. The last one was Mount St. Helens, which I think was
80s or 90s, right?
Yeah. I want to say 90s.
Maybe, but I think I might be thinking of Dante's Peak, that movie with Pierce Brosnan. So I don't know if I'm thinking of that or like the news or like actual news of when it happened. Boy. I watched that movie not too long ago.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah. I like that. It's a guilty pleasure one. Nice. I love big disaster pieces of shit like that. But, so yeah, I think that was probably definitely United States wise, that was the last big, like, high profile eruption that I can recall.
Yeah, March 27th, 1980 was when Mount St. Helens.
Okay.
So yeah, you're right. But yeah, that was like even during my research, if you just Google U.S. volcanic eruption, Mount St. Helens is the first one to pop up. Or one of the first ones to pop up. I don't know what your Google search looks like. So the volcanoes can actually move categories depending on our understanding of their hazards, the unrest, the exposure factors, and then the scoring does change from time to time, although not very often, because a lot of these volcanoes that are on the ranking system do stay pretty dormant most of the time. Okay. Well, not really. I don't know if dormant's the right word, because like the volcanoes that are ranked very high stay very high.
Okay. Yeah, because I don't think they can increase, but I don't think they ever decrease, right?
Yeah. I mean, if they do decrease, from what I read, it's a sign that they are like starting to die and that the like magma is like stopping production and whatnot. Okay. So, which is another theory that we'll get into about the Yellowstone caldera here in a second.
Excellent. Now, I remember reading like a while back, there was an article about trying to devise ways to like depressurize volcanoes. I don't know if you came across anything like that in your research, but like there was like a concept in mind of like base like the way you'll kind of bleed out like a balloon or something like that. You'd be able to bleed out a volcano.
I don't know how you'd be able to do that.
I think it's just like you kind of like release. It sounded like to me, because I know a lot of things, the concern was you would actually just kind of cause more harm.
Yeah.
By, disturbing the volcano and causing, massive amounts of pressure release out of it. Yeah. But I don't know, something interesting I read like a while back. I'll have to revisit that because I remember being very interested by it.
I'm interested in hearing about that. That's really, because I don't know how you would do it without.
We let the pull down like an undisclosed or something like that.
Yes. Okay, so actually one did move down in their ranking, which was Hellosid, not to be confused with the amazing cover band. And these updates are actually detailed in the 2018 update of the U.S. Geological Survey of National Volcanic Threat Assessment. And they do update this every year according to status change or whenever a status does change.
Where was this located? Is it
where was Hellosid located? Tyler's asking me questions. See, I was so proud of myself because I was like, I did Tyler level research. You did not.
I just wondered. I was curious. Is it like a United States one or is it a foreign volcano? Just curiosity.
Iceland is what it's.
Okay.
Iceland. Interesting. If that's wrong on my very vague Google search, please let us know in the comments. I'll be happy. Now that we are all slightly refreshed from our middle school science class, we're going to go back to Yellowstone. So Yellowstone is actually the result of a tectonic activity, volcanism in the earth and earthquakes, which is caused from heat from the radioactive process within the planet's interior, which causes the plates to move. Words am hard. So yeah, if you missed a little bit of that, Yellowstone was created by a lot of volcanoes and earthquakes happening that caused the tectonic plates to move, which caused a lot of the flat, earthy surfaces and hilly surfaces that we have now in Yellowstone, and even still to this day, continues to cause that. So the tectonic activity mixed with erosions and from each other, and then the mixture of ice water, which was tearing away. Which was a lot of the reason how we got a lot of the geysers, and the way that the geysers kind of blow up is through a lot of that pressure that's built up, which is very interesting because if you look up Yellowstone Geyser, and we'll have to link the website down below, you can actually look at the schedule that's updated daily whenever they have updates on when the geysers are going to blow. And it's on all 7 of the geysers.
Oh, there's 7 of them.
There are 7, yes.
I remember Old Faithful. But...
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Old Faithful is like the first one that's on there. And that one, they'll update it. There's even like a little disclaimer down at the bottom that says they'll be updated like as they know information. And if it hasn't been updated, then the previous date like won't change. And Old Faithful is literally updated every fucking day.
Oh, wow.
Every day, sometimes twice
That's
a day.
somebody's job is to track these.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
interesting.
Someone is getting paid for that. I wish I could do that, but then I'd have to go live out at Yellowstone. I don't know. If you're listening to this, Yellowstone Geyser Watcher, we see you. So there is Lake Yellowstone, which is at an elevation of 7,730 feet, which is actually the highest body of water in North America. So the Yellowstone Lake is the highest body of water we have in North America, which is so insane to think, because like I have been on top of I don't want to say I've been on top of a mountain, but I've been near the top of a mountain in Nevada, and like that's really, really high up there. So to like think of like an actual body of water of being up there is really, really just mind-boggling. So there is actually a draining system through there, through the Yellowstone River and the Yellowstone Falls, which is connected to the river. There's also a Grand Canyon in Yellowstone, which is 19 miles long and approximately 800 to 1,200 feet deep. And the Yellowstone supervolcano is underneath of Yellowstone. So if you needed more reasons to go, there it is.
There's a lot of stuff there.
There's a lot of earthworks there, and like it just goes to show like how our Earth is like constantly at work.
Oh yeah.
And it was beautiful. I kind of went off on a little rabbit hole, as you see, learning about all of the earthworks at Yellowstone.
Oh, yeah. Sounds beautiful out there. I want to go out there so bad. Just so much cool shit.
I mean, I do, but like I would need to know it was safe. Like I'm going to need to speak with the geyser people before I go. And as I stated previously, there has not been an eruption from the supervolcano in about 70,000 years.
So I missed it earlier. That ranking system is Yellowstone supervolcano ranked?
So Yellowstone is currently at a high.
Oh wow! Shit.
It's currently at a high.
Where's that? Like 4 or 5?
Like 4-ish. If we're going off of a scaling rank of 5. So it's currently at a 5. Not at a 5. Yeah, it's at a high. So 1, 2, 3, 4. It's at a 4 out of 5. So it's at the high. So it is currently ranked high, which that actually, when the USGS actually changed that ranking, it actually prompted a lot of terrifying rumors to come out regarding that, because a lot of people came out and were like, Yellowstone's about to blow. What's going to happen here?
I remember reading that. Was that pretty recently when they changed it?
It was like 2014.
Yeah, I think I remember reading like articles about that when that changed. Like people like, the headline grabbing stuff of like, Yellowstone, near Eruption Point, all that stuff.
Oh yeah. It was interesting. There were a lot of Reddit users. There were a lot of, Daily Mail and, posts and whatnot. We won't get into the various posts.
I kind of want to see if there's a Yellowstone supervolcano Reddit, but
there is.
But that's terrifying. I bet that's full of some crazy stuff.
I dipped my toe into it and just had to get out of there.
I'm going to have to check that out.
I had to get out. But that actually brings up to Jess Phoenix, who is a volcanologist and the founder of Blueprint Earth, which is a nonprofit. And she actually came out and said at the time of all these rumors and internet conspiracies were coming out, she actually came out and said that people are more motivated by fear than any other emotion. You have the perfect storm for sharing blatantly false information. And she explains that most of the American people have not been near an erupting volcano and they're very unknown to us, as well as being over depicted in movies.
Right.
So I don't know about the over depiction, but then again, I myself have never seen a erupting
I'd say most people have never seen this. It's all we have to gauge is the Hollywood dramatized version of it. So
I don't know. It would be very interesting to see.
Yeah, it would disrupt everything. I imagine that would disrupt that's like global disruption.
Yeah, it would. At this rate, the way that the super volcano would go, it could potentially bury a part or even all of our civilization in the U.S. As an ash map from the Mount St. Helens eruption showed, the ash spanning from Washington State all the way over to the central United States. 2 days after the eruption, and this is still basing the information off of Mount St. Helens, which was huge. 2 days after the eruption, there was ash and air pollution actually detected in the northeastern side of the U.S., and then with reports of ash all around the globe 2 weeks later.
Wow.
So, I mean, think about Mount St. Helens and then compare it to the Yellowstone caldera, and Mount St. Helens is only a fraction of what the caldera actually is.
Wow, so that's insane.
And think about it now from where we were with Mount St. Helens with the 1980s. Now we have internet. Mm-hmm. Now we've got, all kinds of phone poles, internet towers, all that. And then an ash tower would completely cover that. And we could lose all kinds of services. And
God, that's what scares me. It's like that happens, that pretty much puts the entire United States at risk. What happens to all of us? We have to abandon ship basically, right?
Basically. Yeah, basically. Yeah. It's terrifying. No more use of the apps.
Damn. Sad world.
It is a sad world.
See if there's an app for tracking the volcano eruption. Keep my eye on that.
The USGS does do frequent monitoring of the Yellowstone volcano. And like I said, the most recent was done in September. And the University of Utah actually has their seismograph sensors out there, and they actually were able to locate 678 earthquakes in the national park just within the month of September. So 600 earthquakes happening in the month of September. I tried to go back to August.
Of last month?
Last month, yeah.
Wow.
678 earthquakes.
Crazy.
So there was a small swarm of earthquakes, 14 earthquakes is a small swarm, which occurred 3 miles northeast of the Lake Village, Yellowstone National Park. The largest was actually a 2.0 magnitude. The second swarm was 16 quakes, 11 miles south of the West Thumb. The largest was a 3.3 magnitude. And the last swarm was of 34 earthquakes, 12 miles northeast of Old Faithful. So that really concerned me when it got close to Old Faithful, because I'm like, is there something going on underneath there that we should be concerned about? And also the ground actually has risen 1 to 2 inches since 2015. And this can be due to the snow melting and the accumulation of water, which causes the surface to swell. And this was provided by the Yellowstone Volcano Observatory, or the UVO. But yeah, they're already, Yellowstone is already so high, and the ground is getting higher as we're going. So let's talk about what's going on underground. The Yellowstone caldera is very interesting because there's actually 2 magma chambers in the caldera. Okay. There is the lower chamber, which separates from the upper chamber, and it's separated by a layer of sill, and the windowsill. And sill is a flat intrusion of indigenous rock, or igneous rock that forms beneath pre-existing layers of rock. And these can also be between volcanic lava or tuff. along with the direction of the foliation, which is the process of splitting into sheets of the metamorphic rock. So basically, it's melted rock that's added to existing rock and then dries. And then like it makes it in like these sheets. Like, have you ever seen rocks that look like layers upon layers?
Yep.
It's basically that.
I have one of those in my car. I found it when I was hiking. Yeah.
Oh, see, yeah, that might be sill. So that separates the upper and lower levels. So the top layer. So actually, the sill is about 6 miles below the Earth's surface. And then on the top layer, which is closer to the Earth's surface, is the upper magma chamber, which is where the thick, sticky magma with gas that's similar to Mount St. Helens is, kind of kept. And these elements do get explosive as gas pressure builds up because the gas is not as easily released. So what was really interesting was there was the thermomechanical, I got that right, modeling of the formation of the multi-level crustial scale magmatic system by the Yellowstone Plume. And this was a research letter by Dylan Cohen, Alia by Bindman, who is a professional of geological studies, and TV Gira. And this letter details how the chambers and the caldera came to be what it is today through time, as well as research on the plumes. And the plumes are actually a region of the mantle that is hot but still solid and is able to rise or be kept afloat, because we all float down here. The Yellowstone plumes are a part of the Earth's mantle, which is very interesting because that tells us that Yellowstone does reach deep into the Earth. Okay. So super deep. So it does form a boundary between the Earth's mantle and the core, which is approximately 800. Oh, I'm so sorry. 1,850 feet beneath the surface. And the study did win the researchers an award from Michael Poland, who is a scientist in charge of the USGS of Yellowstone and the Yellowstone Observatory. And he said what's neat about their model is they can go back in time and see how it may have influenced eruption rates millions of years ago.
Damn.
So, because the first eruption was 2.1 million years ago. So, I mean, it's clearly been around for a long, long time. So, are we ready to get into some conspiracies?
Yes. I'm very excited to hear this.
Now that we're almost an hour in.
Ooh, big one.
This was a big one. I had to do a lot of explaining because there was a lot about volcanoes that I didn't know. Yeah. So, and you know me, I love to know if I'm going to be talking about something, I need to know what it is.
Absolutely.
So, I have labeled this section, What is Big Brother Up To? Ooh. So, there has been some talk and a really big conspiracy aside from, is it going to blow? When is it going to blow? I think it's going to blow here. Is the U.S. government is planning an evacuation and prep for the super volcano eruption.
Wow.
Yeah.
What was the... Oh, wow.
Yeah. So, and this isn't like the first conspiracy we've heard like this before.
Right.
Because there's been all kinds of like, how the U.S. is like planning on getting like certain groups of people out, if something were to happen. So there was actually a South African website by the name of Prague, Praag. You can still look this up. Who claimed the African National Congress was offered $10 billion a year for 10 years in exchange for temporary housing to be built for Americans in the event of the Yellowstone caldera blow. So the U.S. Oh, that's the next segment. So that's a pretty big deal because $10 billion for 10 years.
Yeah.
First of all, we can't afford that. Who the fuck is making these deals?
Right. Well, there's some money somewhere we don't know about.
Oh, we can't get into that one. So that struck me as very, very strange. It's not the first conspiracy we've heard like this. This was, of course, kind of a runaround one. It was another one of those conspiracy pastas that I found.
Yeah.
Which
you will find those a lot. Yep.
Very interesting. Very, very interesting. However, Alia Bindman. You have a very hard name, Alia. I'll tell you that. Does actually believe, or at least stated, that Yellowstone may be approaching the end of its evolution. So
It's about to meet its final form.
it's gonna go bye-bye. I don't know.
Now, she means by evolution. What does she mean? Like it's dying?
Like it's dying, basically.
Oh.
Like we're not going to be able
That'd be a
to.
relief.
We won't see any more eruptions from it.
That'd be-
She said this is because a lot of the material in the upper mantle is actually recycled and remelted from previous eruptions. And she actually offers a really good example, which is, quote, "How many times do you want to reheat your leftovers? At some point, you're going to say, I'm not going to reheat this anymore. You've microwaved it 6 times. It's no longer food."
Yep.
So she offers a really cool example through that because it's, it really is just recycling its old, erupted material.
Yeah.
And then just cycling it all through. And then once I saw that quote, I went, oh, that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. It's a good way to put it.
70,000 years and it hasn't erupted. And we're way past that, 1.3, thousand years apart from one another.
Yeah.
So, all right. So another one is the U.S. government knows when Yellowstone will blow and won't tell us.
Okay.
Oh, thank you to so many wonderful Reddit users.
I bet.
This was
that's
when
a
I
popular
dipped
one.
my toe into Reddit.
I
and
bet
just
that's a popular
had to
one,
get out
yeah.
of there. Had to get out, man. So, courtesy of Reddit, one user speculated that the government will not give Americans even a 2-month warning to evacuate the quote unquote kill zone area. And they went on to say that this is because the government will not warn the people of the eruption because it will be logistically easier to handle a smaller size of survivors. It's a money thing.
Yeah, and also it'd disrupt our government if that happened. Because if you find out that there's a volcano that's going to erupt in 2 months or whatever, in any time period where it's like, this is going to happen at a certain amount of time, you're not going to worry about paying your bills.
No.
You're not going to worry about fixing things around your home or buying trendy stuff. You're not going to worry about that stuff. Your sole purpose is going to be to get out of here and get to safety. So one, it would cause a massive panic, and two, it would just leave the stock market in shambles.
Oh, absolutely.
Because no one's going to give a shit at that point. No one's going to be worried about going to see the new Hollywood blockbuster or it's what would happen.
No one's buying houses near Yellowstone.
And it's the people who are benefiting from that who are going to be the ones that get out. The people that are getting the money, the big CEOs and stuff. They're the ones that are going to be getting out. So they don't want to take a chance of jeopardizing their bottom line.
Oh yeah, no. And then other users went on to say on Reddit that the government would spend a lesser amount to, quote, scrape up dead bodies after the fact than opposed to evacuate a bunch of middle-class nobodies. And they went on to give their personal opinion, which it's a lovely personal opinion, don't get me wrong. However, not for this show. But, it really just kind of goes to show what kind of light our government is painted in, especially in the court of public opinion. And I just kind of want to shake these politicians and be like, see, if you were honest with us, people wouldn't think of you this way.
Yep. True.
But that's my TED Talk. So there's numerous conspiracies about if and when the caldera will blow. But in reality, we don't know. It's a part of the mystery, and it's a part of the unpredictiveness of volcanoes. And while the USGS and the UVO have come out multiple times and said that there are no signs, there are no seismographic evidence, there's no GPS evidence stating that the Yellowstone volcano is about to blow, it's actually more likely that we will probably never see another eruption from the supervolcano. And it's actually more leaning towards Feynman's theory that the volcano might be dying, might be at the end of its evolution, as she stated. So it still doesn't change the fact that Yellowstone is still one of the most seismically active areas in the US to date. It does still average about 1,500 to 2,500 earthquakes per year. And I mean, we saw that just in 1 month with 678 earthquakes in the month of September of this year in 2022. And in 2021, there were actually 2,773 earthquakes. And already this year, there were 9 major water eruptions of the geysers in 2022. I do believe most of those did come from Old Faithful.
Okay.
So is she going to blow? I don't know. Is she dying? I don't know. I think, with all the geysers and the earth rising below it and like all of the recycled material and whatnot that's going on there, I think there is definitely an argument to be made that, the Yellowstone caldera could just be taking a nice long nap and that we may not see anything. But again, we just don't know.
Yeah, it's uncertain because you can't predict volcanoes. It's not like, storms. You can track the movement and stuff of them. Like, you don't know with volcanoes. Terrifying.
Oh yeah, no. But as far as our little conspiracy here goes on if the government does know if Yellowstone is going to blow and won't tell us, I don't think it's within their best interest. And this is coming from someone that does not trust the government. It's not within their best dollar interest to do that. And I don't really buy into the South African story of paying $10 billion for 10 years to build housing. Could it be likely? Sure. But I really think if that had happened, we would have seen way more of that in the press. Because at that point, it's leverage.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
Pay me more or else I'm coming out to the public about you. Which is, it's all very interesting. A lot of conspiracy pastas here. But either way, I found it to be a really fun, interesting story. I hope I didn't raise the expectations too high.
Oh, that was crazy. I mean, so I had never heard of the conspiracy side of things, but that definitely makes a lot of sense because, if they knew this was going to happen, then we wouldn't know. And there's a lot of things like that. A lot of people talk about, various different global catastrophes and how we just wouldn't know until it was too late because they're not going to tell us because, money makes the world go round and it's the people who are making the money that are ones that are going to get out alive at the end of it. So
yeah. And I mean, Yellowstone is a huge tourist attraction. It costs a lot of money to camp in Yellowstone. Trust me, I've looked at the prices.
Really?
Well, I mean, and for gear, for, parking, for, all that.
Mm-hmm.
And this was like pre-COVID when they were or not pre-COVID, but this was post-COVID when they were trying to separate everybody. So now here in 2022, things may have changed.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it is a little bit of a haul, at least from here in Ohio, to go camp in Yellowstone. And I mean, it's a huge tourist attraction for those businesses and whatnot around Yellowstone. So, I mean, if we're going through money makes the world go round, I don't think it's within that region's best interest to hide that. And I don't think the local government powers there would want to hide it from people.
I don't know. I don't think they would want to tell everyone. So if you tell everyone hey, this thing's going to erupt any minute, people aren't going to come and pitch their tents and buy their pancakes, whatever they do there. And I don't know. I honestly feel like it would just be, you wouldn't know about it until it was too late.
Maybe.
Unless something major happened, there was no way to cover it up. If something, there was some major leak, then we would know. Then it would be pandemonium. But that's the main thing is the second it does come out, it's not going to be a calm response.
Yeah.
It's going to be crazy. And people rushing to the border, trying to get to Mexico, trying to get to Canada, trying to get to, different countries. And then I think a lot of those countries will probably look back and be like, well, wait a second. When we were sending our people over there, you guys didn't want us.
Y'all told us to leave.
Yeah. That's what always scares me when people are like, oh, don't let these people in our country. It's at some point, we're going to have to leave this place too. We don't have to get out of here. So
there's love thy neighbor. It goes deep, y'all. I'm not all that religious.
There's a lot
y'all know
of things
I'm a
that
pagan.
can kill you around here. So, but I don't know. I don't think we would know about it until it was too late unless something major happened.
I can see that side of it. But then again, I really think she might just be taking a long, long nap. at this point now.
I would hope, honestly.
I think she's done. I think she's like, okay, I've popped my cherries a couple times. I'm done now. Which, I mean, we would all be fine with, but it still begs the question, why is Yellowstone still one of the most seismically active places in the United States of America?
Mm-hmm.
And, how will that affect us in future years? So that's another reason for science and, volcanologists and, seismograph people and all that. I'm sorry, I don't know your technical terms. To, further educate. Ooh. If you guys don't know, I'm actually a redhead, but I was blonde as a baby. So that does come through quite a lot. But yeah, seismologists, and I think that's another reason to continue to support their research and their studies in order for us to gain more information, because this is our land. This is a part of America's history and all of that. So I think I'm always more interested in learning about the land.
Yeah.
So
I wish we'd just get ahead and start colonizing other planets. Get off this rock.
I don't know, man. What if
I want to start traveling? Yeah,
I just want to start traveling.
Yeah, I just want to get off this rock. Go see the stars.
Aww.
That's all I want to do.
There we go. I'm gonna take Shy with you.
Oh, of course.
Aww.
She goes where I go.
Space puppy.
That's the rules.
But that is what I have on America's underground volcano. Is she gonna blow? Is she asleep? Does the government know? We don't know. It might just be a big old conspiracy pasta. Which
let us know, because I want to hear. Because I definitely am from what I gathered there. I kind of lean toward it could blow at any minute, and I don't think we're going to know about it until it's too late. I mean, that's just what I get from it. But I would be interested to hear what everyone else says about this.
Me too. Because I'm on that side where I think she's done. I think she's just recycling her old material until I'm being hopeful, basically. I don't know. Watch 2 weeks later, we're gonna be the news will come out. Yellowstone ready to blow in 4 weeks. Well, it's time to leave.
I'm definitely going to dig more into it because I think it's super interesting. I just never really thought it was going to be. I was even thinking why is this? Wonder what she has in store for this, but I was wondering is she going to say there might not be a volcano? I was kind of confused. I was wonder what the conspiracy is here, but that makes a lot of sense.
I was hoping I'd find something more about Hollow Earth. With it, I'm not gonna lie. There is Hollow Earth is on the list, my dears. But I was really hoping to find something like that, or to find a lava Godzilla down there. Something like that. But I did not. However, but what I did find, I was very interested in, and I learned a lot. I learned more than I did in.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, it was a little science lesson.
Absolutely.
Love that.
My dad will be proud.
That was great. That was a great episode. A great way to continue us through here in November, as we're. I guess it's the month of volcanoes and Men in Black. I guess it's
everything erupts.
Weird concept, but this was our second episode, file 006 here on Cult Talk Conspiracy, and it was great. I'm very interested to hear what people think about that, because I had never once considered the Yellowstone volcano part of a conspiracy. I never considered it to be a conspiracy thing. So that's super interesting. I want to hear what you guys think about it. Is it going to erupt? Is it dormant? Is our government hiding something from us?
Yeah.
All the things. Let us know, because we always love to hear from you guys. Like I said, here we're about to lead off of this and go into our Black Friday special. Really excited for that. I have an interesting one. I think a lot of people are going to think is a fun one. It has to do with one of my favorite people in the world.
Ooh.
And one of my favorite movies of all time is kind of tied in with it as well. And that's always fun. So
I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Very excited for it.
Mine's going to be actually based off a video that a very, very dear friend of mine sent me. And I'm very excited because I didn't have my story until he sent me this video. Okay. And then he sent it to me. And it's an interview that takes place the day after the event happens. So it's very fresh. Fresh in the mind. So I'm very, very excited. I'm super excited about that one.
And then, of course, we're going to wrap up this month with file 007, where I will be following up on my first story of the month, the Men in Black Begins I'm going to be talking about the real Men in Black, or at least who I believe to be the real Men in Black. And that's going to be interesting. I'm pretty deep into writing that one. I can't wait to spell that one. I'm pretty sure a lot of people in the conspiracy may know some of these characters we're going to talk about. But I think for a lot of people, they might be a little taken aback by some of these. Some of these people. So I'm very interested in it.
I'm excited.
Yeah,
I'm really
it's going to be a great one. But then our next event we have coming up is Cult Talk Christmas here in December. I mean, it's a good last quarter of the year. Good time for Cult Talk Conspiracy to come around because we're getting to enjoy Culttober and Black Friday and Thanksgiving, all that stuff. So really excited for all this stuff. But that was the super volcano, American super volcano, Yellowstone. Bailey did a good job on that one. I really enjoyed that one. I had a lot of fun on that.
Oh, good. I was worried it was going to be like too sciencey.
No, science is always good.
Awesome sauce. I'm excited. I'm excited for what's coming in store because we do have the Christmas movie sort of trade off where we all drew names out of the hat.
We do have that. We need to get that rolling. Yeah, we do have that coming for a very Cult Talk Christmas, which is the week of Christmas. We don't do the whole month like Culttober, but we do a whole week full of stuff, and we'll talk more about that next month. But a lot of cool things coming up. So this is usually the part of the show where I ramble. I do on every podcast, where I usually draw out the outro as long as possible.
Yes,
because I just like podcasts. So
because we like the podcast, and we like for Michael and Eric to edit and do things.
That's my favorite part about this.
All the time. Where can they find us?
They can find us at Cult Talk Net across everything. I made it really easy for everybody when I said all this stuff. Mike was talking about that the other day. He's like, it's crazy how we just have everything. I was like, you're welcome.
Yes.
I did it on purpose.
Thank you.
Made sure. I like that. That's something I look for in a brand, is when I can find everything easily.
Yes.
So at Cult Talk Net across the board. Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, Rumble, I believe now. Ben handles that.
Bailey handles the Reddit,
which we have the Reddit, everything at Cult Talk Net. If you want to find us and you want to say something to us, you want to critique something or give us your opinion on something, you can find us very easily to do so. So by all means, reach out. We love to hear from you guys. I think that's it for this file 006, America's Super Volcano. What do you think, Bailey?
I think so as well. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We always love hearing from you guys. Always love that seeing you guys are listening and enjoying and watching. And if you guys have any suggestions for us, please send them our way. Leave a comment. Send us a message. Send a smoke signal, not a volcano signal, though. But yeah, we love you guys. And thank you guys so much for listening.
And if you have any critiques on the show, by all means, let us know. Because we're still a young, Cult Talk Conspiracy. As far as Cult Talk Net goes, it's still our new show. So we're always looking for ways to improve and better this experience and make this the best conspiracy podcast we possibly can. So definitely reach out to us and let us know what you guys think. Rate us on iTunes or Spotify or whatever. Just give us a rating.
For sure.
But all right, guys, I think that's been it. That's file 006 in the books. I've been Ty.
I've been Bailey.
Question everything.